Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, June 18th, and 18th, and I am your morning witch. So over on my Facebook page, or maybe you're watching this on my Facebook page, back in the day I used to either rant with Too Much Tuesday, or when I was still selling prints, I'd call it 2 for Tuesday, and I had certain sets of like buy one, get one free prints, right? But Tuesday is all about too much, in my opinion. So I'm going to tell you a little story about Israel and Memphis. And if it's too much, just scroll away. When I was a young woman, by the age of 14, I was used to, or starting with the age of 14, we'll say starting with just because it sounds better, but starting at the age of 14, I was used to grown men approaching me and being like, "Oh, you're so pretty," and then asking me how old I was. And when I said 14 or 15, they'd say, "Oh, I thought you were 21," and then they would just keep talking to me. Like, they wouldn't be like, "Oh, I thought you were 21, my bad." No, they'd say, "Oh, I thought you were 21, what are you up to?" And I should have said kid shit, but I was a teenager and nobody my age was ever interested in me. I was an ugly duckling, right? And so like at this age I was finally blossoming at like double D's, and men were noticing me. Boys weren't noticing me. Children my own age weren't noticing me. So I took the attention, and it is what it is. I'm not going to be ashamed for craving attention as a young lady in the society I lived in. So by the time I'm 16, definitely have dated multiple individuals I shouldn't have, and was definitely had no boundaries in that regard, because for the most part that was the only place any interest was shown was above the age of 18 for me. And that's, I'm not going to say that's okay, that's just, that was my life experience. There was nobody my age showing any interest in me. Once I exited my ugly duckling phase, they still saw me as an ugly duckling, I guess. So at this point, I worked in a restaurant. I actually worked in a restaurant that my father was the regional manager over. Anyway, after work, I hung out with the people I worked with, and I think I was probably one of the only 3 people under the age of 18 that worked there. But that's who I was friends with. It was what I did after work. So being the exponentially bad kid that I was, I hung out with them everywhere, including at the bar. Now, at the bar one night, one of our regulars at the place I worked at was there hanging out, and I was like, I'm gonna go, make a new friend tonight. And I went over and I began speaking with this young man. And he was a very nice young man. And I do say that. He was very nice. His name was Israel. And he and all of his siblings were named after cities that are mentioned in the Bible. So he had a brother named Jericho, maybe a sister named Jericho, definitely a sister named Petra. I don't know all of their names, but they were all named after locations in the Bible. So my coworkers saw me at Israel's table, and they knew Israel as well. So they came over to Israel to enjoy some time and visiting. And, I just plopped myself right down in Israel's lap and put my arm around Israel's shoulder and cuddled up real close, and was very, very affectionately friendly for, the situation. Like, as an adult, I know how inappropriate this was. As a 16-year-old, that was life. That was the life I lived. That was how life was. And so it was nothing to me to sit on the lap of a 24-year-old man at a bar where I wasn't even old enough to be served, and just be like drinking on his drink, and basically letting him know he could totally hang out with me later after the bar. And Israel was like, no. Israel was very nice. He was very polite. He continued conversing with me, encouraged me to exit his lap, because Israel cared about children and the sanctity of life and respect. And do you know what I'm going to say next? Free Palestine. I bet Israel would want us to free Palestine. So Israel and Memphis, God, I hope you'll never see this, but I'm sorry I put you in such an awkward position as a fucking child. Like, it was inappropriate as shit of me, and it doesn't matter what my life experience was. You were the most gentlemanly gentleman that I had ever met before I met my husband. hats off to you, and free Palestine, my fine fam.